Hello viewers, welcome to Tradabulls. So finally, the impact of yesterday's panic selling was broken 25,000 for Nifty. So though it was nominally closed above 25,000 mark, so the major heavyweights are still indicating somewhat further weakness. Today's fall was net to net, it was close to 1% compared to yesterday's price. And for banks also it's about 0.7% negative, and Nifty more than 1% negative side, and mid caps more than 1.3% negative side. And the next talk of the town is Reliance. So Reliance, the first 2 days fall was around 4%, and yesterday's fall was about 4%, and another 1.5% fall by today. So total last 4 sessions altogether it was more than 9.5% fall, close to 10% fall a week. So clearly Reliance has played a major role for Nifty to create this much negative or panic candle. So first let us see what happened today in terms of ranges. So this week the whole range for Nifty was around 1168 points. Most probably this is one of the largest range for weekly for Nifty. So without any event, this is one of the biggest range. So generally, if there are any news or any kind of panic situations, so we may expect some kind of bigger ranges. But this week, the range it was 1168 points. Probably in recent times, this was the one of the largest range for Nifty. And yesterday the range was around 409 points, and today's range was above that, greater than that, 518 points. And last week the range was 430 points for Nifty, but this week around 1168 points. The last month the range for Nifty was around 1524 points, but within a week, not only week, just 3 sessions, the range was created about 940 points. So we can able to see all the time frames, whether it is daily or weekly or monthly, it is clearly indicating that market was falling with huge velocity. And as per yesterday's analysis, we clearly mentioned that Nifty, Bank Nifty and IT, 3 major indices closed below 38.2% of last month's range in terms of Fibonacci retracement and extension. So clearly today again it was closed below that, the next level, that is 23.6% level, so which is 25,113. So in the morning session, market took support at 25,113 and went till 25,485 level. So today's high was 25,485 and the low was 24,966. So as and when it close to 25,400 level, the big panic selling was once again started. So all the way it was created more than 500 points range for the day. And 24,750 is clearly indicating last month's low. So last month's low was 24,753. So we need to see market will take support at that level or will it broke that level and closes below. So next week we need to wait and watch. So as per today's low, another 200 points is required to break the last month low for Nifty. And before that, as per major data points, 24,950 to 24,670, these two would be the biggest support for Nifty in terms of monthly data points. But today it's almost all close to that level. 24,966 or 967 was the low for the day, and 24,950 is one of the important key support for Nifty. So Monday or next week, will it take support from that area, that is 24,950 24,750 and 24,672. So these two would be the major important support levels for Nifty. So if it breaks that levels, so definitely Nifty may enter into complete negative territory. So as per today's data, as per weekly's data, 1168 was one of the biggest ranges in recent times. So another 50% we may expect usually. So when the bigger candle forms, when the bigger ranges forms, and also we need to understand that market, when the recovery starts in the morning session, by afternoon the same kind of double size of quantity, double size of panicness was created, and it was fallen down by another 500 points from today's high to today's low. So one of the major things, so in technicals, generally if there are any panic candles, if there are any big candles, we may expect another 50% range for the following week. So if we consider this would be the around 1100 or 1200 points range, we may expect 500 to 550 points. So at least if we consider 50% range, we may expect 500 to 550 points will be fall to the next week, the following candle we may expect. So in that case, 24,500 would be the next probable number for Nifty. And the important data, so recent times the all-time high was 26,277. So 26,277. So if we consider 10% in that, so 10% of 26,277 would be, so 2627. So 23,550 would be the 10% range. And if we consider 50% in that, that is 5%. So 26,277 minus 5%, that is 1313. So 24,964. So from recent highs to today's low, it was exactly indicating 5% negative. So in recent months, maybe from last two and a half years, so only 2 times I think it was fallen down by more than 5%. So I think during results time and during Parliament budget sessions time. So, but it was only 1 or 2 days. Immediately the weekly candle was taken, bounced back, and it went upside only. But today is weekly close and market closed the low point of the week. So the low point of the week and closing was, the range was very bigger range. So in recent times when we compare, the high to today's low was about 5% negative. So usually 10% negative we can consider this as a profit booking. Still market Nifty is under profit booking only. So if it is another 5% means then it may reach 23,550. But as of now, it is not even 5%. We can consider this as a profit booking. And if it is minus 10% to 20%, minus 20%, then we can say this is a correction. So as per the data, so 23,550, if it breaks and closes below, then we may expect this would be a correction. And if it is above 20%, then we may call this as a bearish trend. So hopefully market may not reach to that level. So whatever happened in this week from recent high to today's close, so definitely it would be, and it was under 5% range only. So still we can say that this is profit booking. So next week we may observe 3 important levels. So 24,950, 24,750, 24,670. And coming to Bank Nifty, so Bank Nifty, last Friday it was closed above 54,000 mark, and Monday it was closed below 54,000 mark. Tuesday it was closed below 53,000 mark, and Wednesday it was closed below 52,000 mark, and today it was closed below 51,500 mark, and Nifty was closed below 23.6% of last month's range, but Bank Nifty closed below 38.2% of last month's range. Still it has some grip on 23.6%, but Nifty, Bank Nifty and IT 3 were closed below 38.2% of last month's range, so that it is indicating somewhat further negativity. And the important supports for Bank Nifty would be, for this month, it would be 50,750 and 50,072. So today's close to that level, most probably another 750 points to 800 points are there. So we need to watch. So next week, the important levels for Bank Nifty would be 50,750 to 50,072. Coming to IT also. So today it was almost all went till 42,566, which was this week high. So Nifty, last week the range was created about 1734, but this week it's a small range compared to last week, and 934 points range created for this week. And the measures from the IT, Nifty, Infosys and TCS are somewhat positive today, but 42,000 level was closed below that level, and the 0% of last month's range was indicating 41,614. So the next monthly support is also indicating at 41,150 level. So 41,150. So another 600 to 700 points we may expect another fall from IT also. So all three major indices closed below 38.2% of last month's range. That is one of the important level. If we want to expect any uptrend, at least the indices should close above 38.2%, at least on a daily basis. And coming to major indices, so sentiment wise, Nifty was closed 40 out of 50 negative side and 10 out of 50 are positive. So this today it was about 267 points, and the major negative contribution from HDFC Bank, Reliance and ICICI Bank. And as per weekly data, so the whole week the loss was around more than 1164 points, which is 4.4% weekly loss from Nifty. And the major contributors downside was Reliance, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. So Reliance was contributed by 227 points negative, HDFC Bank 150 points and ICICI Bank was around more than 100 points. So all these three together contributed about 500 points. So about 45 to 50% contribution came from these three companies only. So coming to Bank Nifty. So Bank Nifty today it was intraday HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak, these three were major downside contributors, whereas positive side Bank of Baroda, SBI, Axis Bank and PNB are the positive side. So coming to weekly, 8 out of 12 were downside and only one was closed positive side, that is Bank of Baroda. So majorly HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank and Kotak Bank, IndusInd Bank contributed major downside points. So 152 around 763 points. So out of 2,372 points, so majorly HDFC Bank was contributed by 763 and ICICI Bank was contributed by 638. So these two together almost 1400 points, nearly 1400 points contributed out of 2,372 points, almost more than 50% contribution from these two banks. So coming to IT today, Infosys and TCS was closed on positive side, whereas persistent LTI Mindtree Emphasis was closed on negative side. So comparatively weekly data, so 500 and 400 points net to net loss, so which is 0.9% negative. So TCS was 133 points contributed downside for this week, and Infosys was contributed around 70 points positive side. So somewhat IT may take some support over here, and as long as it holds at least last month low, we can expect somewhat further upside. Otherwise, IT also we may expect another 700 points to 800 points downside. So coming to major indices from NSE, Nifty, Bank Nifty, IT, Fin Nifty, Mid Cap and Reliance all are indicating bearish only. All short-term trends are indicating bearish signals only. And top 10 heavyweights from major indices, Nifty out of 50, out of 10 major heavyweights, 7 were closed on negative side for intraday and 2 were upside. So Infosys and TCS, these 2 are upside only. And as per weekly, 8 out of 10 were closed negative side and only 2 were in neutral, and none of the companies were closed on upside or positive side. So majorly Infosys and SBI were closed on neutral mode, remaining 8 were closed on downside. And majorly HDFC Bank was lost by around 5.5% on this week, and Reliance was down by around 9.5% negative side. ICICI Bank was down by more than 5% this week, and L&T was down by more than 5.7% this week, and Axis Bank more than 7.5% lost by this week. So all these major heavyweights more than 5 to 7% fall happened. So that's why Nifty has created one huge bigger range on negative side. So coming to Bank Nifty, so the top 10 heavyweights, 7 out of 10 are in negative side for intraday, and 8 out of 10 are closed on downside for weekly, and 8 out of 10 closed for monthly also. So majorly SBI and Bank of Baroda are somewhat neutral to positive, but remaining 8 were closed on negative note. So coming to IT, top 10 heavyweights, intraday 5 out of 10 are closed on negative side, and 7 out of 10 are closed on negative side for weekly, and 7 out of 10 are closed on negative side for monthly. So Infosys and TechM and Coforge, these 3 are somewhat neutral to positive. Remaining 7 were closed on negative side. So coming to heat maps, so daily 0.3%, ONGC also up by 1%, and negative side M&M, Bajaj Finance, Nestle India, Hero Motors, so more than 2.5% to 3.5% negative side. As per weekly data, positivity from JSW Steel more than 3%, remaining all are positive to negative, flat to negative. So major downside in terms of percentage was by Reliance more than 9.15% for this week. So Shriram Finance around 8% loss, Axis Bank around 7.5% loss, BPCL around 7.5% loss, Hero Motors also around 7.5% loss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 companies out of 50 were closed more than 7% negative side. So majorly the top heavyweight Reliance was down by more than 9% from last 4 days. So this was one of the biggest heavyweight from Nifty 50. That's why Nifty created bigger panic situations. And not only Reliance, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank also added up that one. So whatever fall happened more than 1,000 points, so out of that 50% fall in terms of points contribution has come from Reliance, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. So that's all about today's analysis. So next week, the important levels for Nifty would be 24,750 level, and that was the lowest point of last month's range. And both, or not only both, so Nifty, Bank Nifty and IT, 3 were closed below 38.2% of last month's range. So that was indication of some more negative side, and we need to watch carefully. Still it is holding, all 3 major indices are holding last month low. So whether these 3 will breaks that last month's low or not, we'll watch and see. So that's all about today's analysis. We'll meet on Monday analysis. Thank you so much.